So I took a 4 and a bit hour bus from KL to the Cameron Highlands. It's one of the most popular tourist destinations in Malaysia, and I can see why. It's really beautiful, really green, lots of tea plantations. It's great for hiking, and just a really nice vibe to it. The few days that I had in Kuala Lumpur were hot, they were really interesting. A city like KL I've not seen before in my life. I was trying to compare it to London as sort of the closest point of comparison, and you can't. I found the modern buildings interesting from an engineering perspective, and I liked that there's just kind of jungle plants everywhere. It kind of reminds me of some of the cyberpunk art you'll see where nature's kind of reclaimed cities in the future. So it kind of gave me a little bit of that sort of impression, but only to a small degree. I had a good time there. The hostel I stayed in, it was really nice. I'm glad that I only stayed for about 3 days, because it's not really a place that is somewhere I would be particularly interested in. A lot of it is shopping, and I'm not a shopping kind of gal. Monday when I arrived in KL, I was a little bit jet lagged. I managed to shake that pretty quickly. I arrived in the morning in local time here, and I was a bit worried how I was going to stay awake the entire day when I hadn't slept that well on the plane, but it was fine. Then Monday night I woke up startled. I was having a panic attack and I couldn't even really say why, and I didn't know where I was. I couldn't really find my bearings, and then off of the back of that, with all of the kind of adrenaline and cortisol and stuff like rushing through my body, I started having like all sorts of doubts about whether I'd been over ambitious in my travel plans. I was so unwell last year. It's really easy for my anxiety to latch onto that and think, well, you know, it's a slippery slope, and before I know it, I could be having a mental health crisis in an unknown country. But everything always feels so much worse in the night time, and it wasn't actually respective of what I believe. I've been working so hard on my recovery and resilience and just finding better ways of coping with the fact that life is difficult, compared to the coping mechanisms that I had before I was ill, that maybe weren't ideal, but they were the best that I had at the time. So I reminded myself that this anxiety that I was experiencing at the start of something as big as traveling to the other side of the world for a really long time, away from everyone I know and love, is going to scare even the most resilient of people, and that's okay. And to just show myself some compassion, and so I sat and I meditated and just tried to get back to sleep, and thankfully that worked. And then since then I've been doing absolutely fine. I think wobbles are going to be part of the course, particularly as someone who has spent the majority of their life being an anxious person. But now that I've sort of settled a little bit, I'm having a much better time. I'm excited. I'm really enjoying being somewhere so different. Yesterday we went out I met some cool people, and we went out to one of the tea plantations here. It's kind of what you have to do when you're out in the Cameron Highlands. It's part of the course as well. It was really overrated, but did it, and it was pretty scenery. And then went out for a hike. Cameron Highlands, really popular for hiking, and I had plans to be hiking all this weekend, except I ate dirt, and I twisted my ankle really bad. So today I am just chilling at the hostel and quietly hoping that it'll be better tomorrow, but I'm not going to be able to get to do any of the hiking that I had planned while I was here, but that's okay. That's just proof that things happen that you weren't expecting. It could have been so much worse. When I fell, and you have that sort of moment where you're sat on the floor and you're letting all the stress kind of and shock wash over you, and you're thinking, oh man, how bad is it? I was really fortunate that I didn't continue falling down the hill and that I was in company, and that I managed to hobble the remaining 2 kilometers back down to the town. I've had it checked out by physio. I don't think there's any significant damage, so I'm just gonna take it easy and hope that it'll be a lot better in a couple of days' time. I might need to extend my trip in the Cameron Highlands. I need to be sensible in my approach. I'm going to be in Malaysia for 3 months. My volunteering post that I was hoping to do from Monday, they haven't got back to me, which I'm starting to see is more and more common, which is frustrating, but it means I haven't got any immediate plans as to where I'm going and what I'm doing, so maybe I'll extend my time here, and then my ankle might be good enough for me to do some of the shorter routes here, but just have to kind of bend with the breeze and go with the flow, and just prioritize resting it, because I'm not going to get any medals for pushing it, and it will just affect my travels for longer. So it's a marathon, not a sprint, what I'm doing, and I'm very fortunate of that, and I need to bear in mind that if I need to take a longer period of time somewhere, it doesn't have to just be for the reason that I don't want to leave. It can be other reasons as well, that I just need the rest. So yeah, feeling good, feeling happy. The weather here is beautiful. Food is amazing, but I expected that. So all in all, can't complain, apart from the ankle, of course. This is my only view of the mountains for the day. Because of how badly I've hurt my ankle, I need to rest. That mountain, its name in Malaysian translates to fog in English, because it's almost always covered in cloud. But there's butterflies here, so many beautiful flowers, and just a really nice temperature. It's like British temperatures here. So I'm laid up, resting my ankle, hoping it'll be better tomorrow. But this is the view from the balcony of the hostel. The hostel's really great. A place called Sleepers Port in the Cameron Highlands, run by a guy called Kaz, who is absolutely epic, so would recommend.